Hey y'all, Camille here with the Capitol Report. I have some more news on the budget for you. When I left you last, the legislature had lowered the budget deficit of over $900 million to about $30 million for this current fiscal year, which ends on June 30th. However, last week the Revenue Estimating Conference met and determined that even after the special session and the multiple tax increases, the state is still short about $70 million for the current fiscal year. About $4 million of that came from Governor John Bel Edwards' veto last week. He vetoed at least $4.4 million worth of cuts that had already been approved by the legislature. The cuts that the legislature found had originated in House Bill 122, now deemed Act 27, which contained about $37 million in cuts overall. The governor's logic behind restoring these additional cuts was that apparently some of those state agencies would not be able to function without those funds. With about $70 million to come up with, the Department of Health and Hospitals and Higher Ed are bracing for more cuts, and the Louisiana Commissioner of Administration, Jay Darden, stated Thursday that this week they would be announcing where those cuts are going to be made. For the next fiscal year, the projections for the shortfall have dropped considerably, from a $2 billion deficit to a $750 million deficit for the fiscal year beginning on July 1st. While this decrease is some of the only good news for the state, the legislature will still have to find a way to close the gap. So, where does this leave us? More likely than not, another special session will be required to fill the remainder of the $750 million budget gap for the next fiscal year. Alright, I'll try to get away from all these numbers and refocus us on the session at hand. Governor John Bel Edwards kicked off last Monday's regular session with a, "Didn't we just do this?" Well, at least a few things have changed from the special session. 11 committee changes were made by Speaker Taylor Barra last week. 2 of those moves impact our industry directly. Representative Patrick Connick and Representative Franklin Foyle have both been placed on the Natural Resource Committee, where they will deal with matters concerning conservation, mineral resources of the public lands, mines and minerals, geologic surveys, and more. Next, the House Natural Resource Committee had their first meeting of the regular session last Wednesday. They continued the presentations that had begun during the special session and heard from DEQ, the Louisiana Chemical Association, and the Sierra Club. Also in attendance was Lieutenant General Russell Honore with the Green Army, which according to their purpose is an alliance of civic, community, and environmental groups ready to affect social, political, and environmental change in Louisiana. Lieutenant General Honore closed his environmentally focused presentation by exclaiming that they will be sending a letter to the White House to tell the president not to approve any more leasing in the Gulf of Mexico. He does not believe we need that oil, he said. More oil could keep the prices suppressed in Louisiana. He believes that the oil should be saved for the next generation, and that people are only drilling because it's popular. He believes that no more leases should be given for oil exploration in the Gulf. The committee adjourned, and no legislation that was pertinent to the industry was discussed. But as a sneak peek for next week, the first bill that has potential to impact the industry is on the docket for the House Civil Law Committee on Tuesday. House Bill 634 by Representative Tanner McGee, a Republican from Houma, adds appropriation to the list of surface acquisitions where the prescription of the mineral right is interrupted. A link to the bill can be found on our Capitol Report resources page if you would like to read up on it. As we continue this year's regular session, make sure you keep an eye out for up-to-date news on the oil and gas industry and the 2016 legislative session right here. And please be sure to share this video with your colleagues and friends. Until next time, this is Camille Ivy-O'Donnell with LOGA TV.